Cool. So, yeah, first of all, good morning to everyone. Um, Thank you for joining the session. It's 6 a.m. here where I am in the UK, so I'm looking a little bit tired. I apologize for that. And yeah, thank you for joining my session today on profiles to permission sets, my two-pronged approach. So, before we start, I just want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors. Without them, events like this wouldn't be possible, and we wouldn't be able to come together to learn and share. So, yeah, massive thank you to all of the sponsors for this amazing event. So to start off with, I just want to share a little bit about myself. So I started with the Salesforce platform as an end user. So I was an in-store technical specialist at O2, which is a telecoms company here in the UK. They brought Salesforce in for us to manage appointments with customers and things like that. I then moved to a B2B telecoms company where Salesforce was being used in a more traditional way with things like accounts, contacts, leads, all of the usual stuff you think of with Salesforce. But having seen this same system used in two completely different ways, I mean that's where I was hooked, and that was 12 years ago now. So I'm now at Salesforce Ben, where I'm a Salesforce technical instructor. I'm also 14 times certified, and this year I've spoken at Czech Dreaming, London's Calling, GPT Dreaming, and the Reading and Manchester user groups here in the UK as well. I'm also a Supermums mentor and was previously a Trailblazer, Salesforce Trailblazer mentor and a London admin user group mentor. And lastly, I am part of the Salesforce credentialing team, most recently where I worked on the recently released AI Associate certification. And there is me and just a little code to my LinkedIn if you wanted to connect. So here's the agenda for this session. So first of all, just my experience in this area. Next, profiles, then permission sets, permission set groups, planning. And then I'm going to touch on the user access and permissions assistant, then user access policies, before we just go over any questions. So my experience in this area, so you might be wondering what type of experience I've got to be able to speak on this. And to be honest, it's quite a bit. So first of all, I'm a certified sharing and visibility architect, which you won't pass unless you know absolute ins and outs of all user permissions. In my previous role, I also undertook a complete revamp of all roles, profiles, and permissions as part of our SOX compliance process. So SOX compliance refers to annual audits that take place within public companies, within which they're bound by law to show evidence of accurate, secured financial reporting. And it covers both financial and IT systems. So to be SOX compliant, we needed to document every single user and their permissions with detailed reasoning for why each one has what they had. And like I said previously, I've also had 12 years experience in the ecosystem, primarily as an admin. So I've managed users, thousands of users all over the world, really. Right, so to start with, what is a profile? So it's easy to think of a Salesforce profile like a basic office pass when you're going into like a physical working office. So each employee will get their own office pass when they join the company, and that lets them get into the building and gives them some standard access, like using common areas and accessing their own office. So, for example, a regular employee's office pass may let them into the lobby of an office and their own office on the 5th floor, but they can't, say, access the executive suite on the 10th floor. So what is the future of profiles? So Salesforce officially announced that permissions on profiles will have an end of life date. Currently, that's due for spring 26 release. So there's still plenty of time to properly plan how you're going to implement these changes. However, profiles aren't going away. So when setting up user, they will still need to select a profile, and there's still going to be a number of things that remain on the profile. So things like any one-to-one relationships. So things like login hours or IP ranges. All of your defaults will stay on the profile as well. So default record types, default apps, they will all stay there as well. Page layout assignments, they're going to stay as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of what's staying. So what is a permission set? So if we're carrying on with the office analogy, suppose you want to grant certain employees special access to specific rooms or floors that their normal access pass doesn't allow them. So in this case, you can issue them a special access card, like a key card for certain doors. So these special access cards are like permission sets where they don't replace the basic office pass, they just add to the extra privileges. So for example, let's say you give the marketing team a special access card. With this card, they can enter the 10th floor executive suite, but other employees can't unless they have that same special card. So it doesn't change their regular access, it just adds to that and gives them the ability to enter certain extra rooms. So what is moving to permission sets? So there's quite a lot of things that are moving that were previously managed purely on the profile. So we've got our user permissions, so system and app permissions. We've got our object permissions, so being to create, read, update, delete. Field level permissions, our field level security, all of our tabs, the record types that are not defaults, the apps that are not defaults, connected app access, any Apex classes, Visualforce pages, and custom permissions. So these are all things that are going to be moving from the profile into to permission sets or permission set groups.
Yeah.
So now, what is a permission set group? So again, leading on from the example that we've had. So imagine you've got a group of employees who now they all need access to the same sort of rooms or floors. So instead of giving each of them the separate special access cards or permission sets, you create a bundle of these cards called an access bundle. So everyone in that group gets this bundle, granting them the same additional access. So for example, you might have a marketing team and an IT team who both need access to the 10th floor executive suite. So instead of giving them each separate access cards, you create an executive access bundle. And then everyone in the marketing and IT team who needs that access gets the same bundle, and it just makes them easy. It makes it easier for you to manage who can access and enter the specific rooms. So planning is a very big part of this this whole process. So you need to know your current profiles. So if you've got a sales user and a sales manager profile, you need to understand the difference between the two. Likewise, if you have any super user profiles, what permissions do they have over regular users? You need to plan how you can group the permissions together. So if you've got a sales manager and a service manager profile, for example, can these be merged or grouped into a single manager profile? Manager permission set, which gives access to things like reports and dashboards. Probably most importantly, you need to communicate what is happening with your users. So you need to tell them what you're doing and why. You need to give them a timeline of what is happening and when, making sure they're involved in the process. And because they're going to play a huge role in testing the changes, so they need to be on board and they need to know what's going on. So step one of the two-pronged approach is the user access and permissions assistant. So this is a completely free app on the App Exchange, created by Salesforce Labs, and it gives you the ability to select permissions from existing profiles and migrate them into permission sets. It's really simple to use. And what I will do now is jump to a little demo just to show you how easy it is to work. So here we are in the app itself. So you can see at the top, you've got the different options for analyzing your permissions. You've got the converter, reports, and manage. So if we start with the permissions analyzer, you can analyze by your user, your permissions, or your permission set groups. So if, for example, I search for my permissions,
Getting demo, but we cannot see that.
Yeah.
can't see the demo.
Yeah, Andrew, we cannot see your screen.
What's showing at the minute on the screen?
Right now, we just.
Is it just the
Just
demo? Right. Bear with me a sec. How is that?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah, we can see that.
right? Let me. Sorry about that. Let me start again. So yeah, here at the top, we've got our tabs for permissions, analyzer, converter, report manager, and this is what it's broken down to when we use the analyzer. So again, you can analyze by user, permission, or permission sets. So yeah, here is my user profile. So you can see down the side, it shows you which profile is part of any permission sets that I've got assigned to me and any permission set groups I'd be assigned to as well. So this is a really good tool to use for your planning because it shows all of your detail, all of your permissions in quite a granular way. And then it's broken down by standard objects, custom objects, and any setup entity access and your user permissions. So if I look back to when I was planning our project as part of the SOX compliance process, a tool like this would have made my life a lot easier, because something like this didn't exist at the time. So I literally had to go through each profile with a fine-tooth comb and find all of these details, whereas now you can just do it in one tool, which is really easy to use. I'm going to touch on the converter at the end, but the reporting is also a really good tool, as it allows you to report on all of the user permissions that you've got, and you can export that into CSV, and you can go away and do whatever you need to do with it. So again, you can do it by user permission sets or dependencies. So again, if I go to myself, just select all user permissions, run the report, and you can see it's broken it down into all of those permissions that we've got there. Managing is a really useful part of this as well because it allows you to create permission set groups right within the tool. And then finally, the converter. So this is a really, really good way of using the tool if you want to do a one-for-one migration with your profiles into a permission set. So for example, here I've got a custom sales profile that I might be happy with and just want to convert that straight into a permission set. So here, just select the convert to permission sets button. Just call it sales permission sets. And then hit convert, and then that's it. It will convert it to, well, it will start the job to convert it to a permission set, and then you'll be able to go in and view the permission set once that's done. And then you can do all of your assignments from here. There's one thing that the tool doesn't do in that it currently doesn't give you the option to change the profile as well. So if I was to if I was to create a sales, what I've just done with the sales permission set, I don't then have the option to change the user's profile. I'd need to do that manually through the normal setup. And if you want to download that, you can scan the QR code there. Like I said, it's a free download from the App Exchange. It's really, really easy to install. Right, next so the second prong of the two-pronged approach is the user access policies tool. So
I'm really sorry, Andrew, for interrupting you. Before going to the step two, just to inform you, we just have 7 to 8 minutes left, so we need to wrap into, 7 to 8 minutes.
yeah, no worries. This won't take long, don't worry.
Thank you.
So yeah, the user access policies is a new feature currently in beta that allows you to automate and migrate your users' assignments to access to create access mechanisms, including package licenses, permission sets, and permission set groups. You can create rules to identify users with specific profiles and then assign them to new permission sets or permission set groups. So this is a really good tool for migrating users from a profile-based permission model to a permission set-based permission model. So let's say you've got a profile called sales representative and you want to move all users with that profile to the new permission set we just created, sales user. You can do that using the user access policy tool. You can create a rule with the following. You can just filter it as the profile, grant the access as sales user, and then you can set it to when you want to apply it. So again, I'm just going to go into a quick demo and show how that's working. I'll just make sure that you're seeing the Salesforce org.
Yeah,
we can see it.
All good. Cool. So this is the setup for user access policies. I've got a slide after this on how to set it up, so I won't go on into that now. But to create a new policy, you just hit the new button. You give it a label. So here you've got your trigger type. So it can be when a user is created, when a user record is updated, or both. So here I'll go for both. And then you've got your status. So you can have different statuses based on kind of where you are in your process. So once that's saved, you'll be able to edit to set up the rules. So here you can see the rules. It can be based on permission set, group, profile, etc. So I'm just going to go to profile, and it needs to equal sales. Where are we? I'm not going to select any additional filters, but you could do that there if you wanted to. So only if a user's active, for example, and then you can set that action here. So here, I want to grant the permission set of the sales permission set that we just created. And then when we hit save, that's it. So now any user that is created or updated that have got the custom sales profile will automatically be assigned the sales permission set. So again, you can see that that's a really easy way to kind of manage these changes. And this is also a tool that Cheryl Feldman, who's leading up these changes, is paying really close attention to. So it's always being updated and improved, which is really good. So yeah, if you want to enable the user access policies, all you need to do is go to user management settings, and there's a toggle for enabling user access policies, like I said, which is currently in beta. And there's just where it is in the system. Cool. So to summarize, you need to understand your current profiles. So before making any changes to permissions, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of your existing Salesforce profiles. They define the baseline permissions for your users, so you need to start by reviewing each profile and make sure that everyone's got the right access that they need to. Identify the objects, the fields, and features that each profile's got access to. Next, you need to plan how you can group them together. So, for example, grouping them by sales, by service, by marketing, if you can. Try and consider categorizing them into the logical groups based on roles or responsibilities. So, for example, if you've got different set of permissions for your sales team, customer service, and marketing, group them together. You can create your profiles or permission sets to align with these groups, and it will just make the process a lot smoother. And overall, it will simplify it for you, which is the main thing. Make use of the user access and permissions assistant. So it's a free tool. Like I said, if I could have used that in my previous role to help with my SOX compliance project, it would have saved me, I don't even know how many hours of work. So in this process, it's going to be really, really important to try and do things as quickly as you can. And that tool's definitely one that's going to help with that. And then also the user access policies tool. It's another really, really good tool that we've got that, like I said, Cheryl and her team's been working on. And I think that the most important thing about that tool is that it takes a lot of the strain off of you, because you don't need to be constantly worrying about what's going on, as once a rule set up, you know that that's in place for the time that you've specified, and it's just going to do what it needs to do, and it just makes your life a lot easier. And obviously, it goes without saying to test in a sandbox and test with your users. So before making any changes, don't do it in a live environment. Do it in a sandbox. Yeah, that goes without saying these days. Oh, And that is it from, I've just realized that you are not even seeing the slides. That doesn't matter because it was all just words, but I'll say it anyway. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me chat a little bit there. Are there any questions? And if there are, I'll try to answer them if I can.
2 minutes. If you can. Okay, ask.
Hi, Andrew. I have a question for you. So I was just wanted to confirm that once the permissions from the profiles are taken away, they are going to go to the permission set groups, or they are going to be distributed among the roles and other areas where we can create the permissions and and we can do the restrictions.
No, they will be moving to permission sets and permission set groups, depending on which way you want to go. Really, it's not been confirmed yet what will happen after the cutoff. So we know that everyone's going to need to have their base profile, but in
Yeah.
terms of once that cutoff happens, it's not been confirmed how that move happens. So we don't know if it will be an instant. These permissions have now been removed from the profile, or if it will be gradual. So yeah, that's something that they've not confirmed yet, but hopefully they will do in one of the upcoming releases while we've still got time to be planning.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for your time. It was such a lovely and informative talk with you. So yeah, that's it from our side.
Amazing. Thank you for having me, guys.
You're
And
Thank
welcome.
you.
yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah,
Thank
happy
you.
weekend.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.